Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with Nick Perdomo from Perdomo Cigars, and today we're going to talk about the intricacies of making a consistently quality cigar, and you're watching Cigars Daily. Hey, get more out of this and all our videos when you join the community on Cigars Daily Plus. You'll even find more in this video. And I need to ask you about something that I think is, for me, it's paramount. I spend more time in the cigar industry. I spend a lot of time thinking about cigars. And the quality of a brand matters. It matters to me because it matters to the people who enjoy cigars. And certainly some brands are the quality can be hit or miss. Some brands just seem to have a lot of quality. But your brand, Perdomo, has built the Perdomo Army, a massive following of people who just know Perdomo is really, really good consistently. And the quality of cigar that you get for what you pay for these cigars, it's always there. And I know some of the stuff that you do, okay? Because you've talked about it before. Like, for instance, draw testing every cigar, which sounds like a crazy endeavor. Aging your wrapper leaf for 5 years. I mean, when people hear that tobacco gets aged for 3 years before it goes into a cigar, they're like, wow, that's a lot of lead time. 5 years, that's a lot longer. Now, when it comes to your blends, though, one thing that stands out to me over everything else is you got blends like, we're smoking the Perdomo 20th anniversary Sun Grown right now. But like all the other cigars and all of your other lines, this also has a 20th anniversary Connecticut and a 20th anniversary Maduro. As you blend these cigars, how in the hell do you get such balanced blends? I mean, and I'll let you talk in a second. I'm kind of rambling, but certainly I see, it seems in some cases like there are manufacturers who will just make one blend, really like it, and then say, well, by God, I need a Connecticut. So they just slap a Connecticut wrapper on it and put it in the box and ship it, or just slap a Maduro wrapper on it. So how are you getting consistency across your line while you're still maintaining the draw and the 5-year age wrapper and all these other quality points?
Well, there's a lot of answers to that question, but the first thing is vertical integration. When you grow your own tobacco, and we've been growing our own tobacco for 25 years, we're growing tobacco to what our company needs. So we're growing for quality, not for weight and what we can fill in a bale. So that's the first thing. The second thing is when we make a blend or a dosage, we don't just say this is light tobacco from Esteli or medium tobacco from whatever valley. We actually dissect the valleys and what the ground contents give us. So when our tasting team and our blending team decides we're going to come up with a cigar, we want so much sweetness, we want so much pepper, we want so much flavor, whatever we want, we can really zero in on the different zones. So for example, Jalapa is known for aromatic, sweet tobaccos, great wrappers, great binders. Condega in the middle, it's got more cloud cover, heavy grounds, more earthy type, very aromatic tobaccos, but not as strong as the Esteli Valley. But just because Esteli is the powerhouse, there's some areas in Esteli that are more loamy or thinner type grounds. They're lighter. You ever smoke a cigar and you love it, and then you smoke the next one and you go, I don't love it as much.
Didn't have it,
right? The reason we have consistency is because we have secos or light tobaccos. It could be from lot 14 of this particular farm, from this particular seed variety. Those secos are consistently used on, for example, 10th anniversary champagne, or on the 20th, the Visos come from Condega from lot number 63. That always, from that particular seed variety, we always use it. So there's consistency there. So if you look at brands like 10th anniversary champagne, 22 years in the market, lot 23 years, it seems like everybody's just trying to throw things against the wall and hope they stick. And that's fine, but it takes me a long time to come up with a blend. It takes us upwards to 3 or 4 years because we're really dissecting on what we're doing. Packaging takes us over a year. So I think I have a very good portfolio in the humidors of retailers all around the world, and I don't think they keep needing more and more cigars. There's always a new cigar for you. For example, I was in South Miami, and a guy said, I've been smoking your cigars for 25 years. Is there anything that you recommend? I said, have you ever smoked Perdomo Reserve Champagne? He said, no. I said, well, it's new to you. We've sold many of them throughout the decades, and I think retailers and consumers have to learn and explain that. I never wanted to buy the newest model car, right? I've always wanted to buy stuff that's consistent.
Amen to that.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
And the balance and the consistency of the products is paramount to us, whether it be even the wrappers. We use certain priming or certain positions on the leaf depending on what the brand is. For example, this brand has a higher priming wrapper than the 10th anniversary because I want a little more thickness, I want a little more flavor, but the consistency is our color sorting team and our wrapper team is always looking for texture and saying, okay, this is for 20th. This texture comes from this farm, it's on the third priming, this is going to here. And we're consistent about that. And the reason we could do that is because we grow our own tobacco. We can zero in on not only the farms and the lot numbers, but that's what's going to build your consistency, where vertical integration makes a big difference. When you're buying tobacco from a broker, he could be great, but I don't know what fertilizers he's using. I don't know what type of water source he's using. I don't know what type, did he cure it correctly in the curing houses? Did he use the 45 days in the visas that he did, or did he cut it in 42 days? If you don't have proper curing, you're never going to have proper fermentation. So in our chain, everything has to be done right, and there's no deviation, because at the end, we're going to make this, and if any part of that chain was weak, somebody's going to be in trouble for that. So we got to make sure, and all our team is in unison to be able to do that. I mean, even sorting wood to make boxes, everything has to be consistent. And it's really important. This is a really good story when you talk about aging tobacco. Connecticut shade wrappers have this phobia that they're very light and they're bitter and this and that, and they are. But the reason is because that tobacco burns green. So because it's so expensive, people will roll the cigar with the tobacco raw. Tim, any raw tobacco is going to be bitter and non-flavorful.
Right.
And Connecticut gets a bad rap, and it shouldn't. It's one of the greatest wrappers in the world. Well, I aged the tobacco, and I just had a competitor of mine, big guy, I'm not going to mention his name, good friend of mine, and he said, "You're crazy doing what you're doing." He came to our sorting and selecting and saw that I had all these Connecticut's in fermentation, and he saw crop years and said, "You keep this?" He goes, every year that you keep this Connecticut, you lose 10 pounds of moisture. And I said, "So what?" He said, "Well, at $52 a pound, that's $520. At 1,000 bales, that's $520,000. I said, "You got the math wrong." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, I can't look at it as $520,000. I take $520 per bale. I take 27,500 wrapper leaves in that bale. I divide it, and it comes out to 1.8 cents. Okay? That's the math you use. And you know what? It's even more important than 1.8 cents. The guy who never smoked Connecticut or likes Connecticut loves a cigar because I take all the bitterness out. I take all the rough edges out. When I ferment that tobacco, the flavors start coming and imparting into the flavor. And how much does it cost to lose a customer? A hell of a lot more than 1.8 cents for a cigar. So to me, that $520,000 or whatever it is, it doesn't mean to me, to be quite honest with you. I want the cigar right. It takes 10 years to get a customer. It takes 3 seconds to lose one. And at my stage in my career, like when I first started 26, I don't want to lose any customers, like you don't either. You and I have discussed it. We always want to keep our customers satisfied. It sounds elementary, but it's really true. And to cut corners, it'll always bite you at the end. So it's really important to have equal fermentation, equal curing, and have well-aged tobacco. Our company has so much inventory of aged fillers, binders, and wrappers that if we stopped growing tobacco today and didn't grow for 7 years, I would have tobacco for 7 years at a growth of 18% increases per year. And that's how good that's how you have to zero in
right
on stuff for consistency. My sales team, they have to have their bullets to shoot. And we want our customers happy. And I think that's why we've had so much brand loyalty to our brand. And being a manufacturer that does everything, we do pass that savings on. A lot of times I think it hurts us. You look at a brand like Lot 23, that brand could sell for $15, $18 all
right.
day long. But we choose not to do it. Tim and I had talked earlier. My dad always said that small margins guarantee you stay in business, and it's worked good for us in the last 32 years.
So I feel like I can sum up everything you've said with 2 points. One point is you can create incredibly consistent blends, incredibly balanced blends by being vertically integrated and owning the process so that you can have ultimate control over the details. And then after that, just know a load about tobacco. I mean, just like fuck, and just everything you can know about tobacco. I mean, everything you rattled off is a full master's degree worth of knowledge about not just tobacco, but all of the numbers behind it that you've learned over the last 30 plus years doing this.
Yeah, because we actually do it. You know what I mean? That's a big thing. I hear all these people, and listen, I'm a capitalist. I can do it. Oh, I'm a master blender. I do this and I do that. And I'm like, I don't know if these guys would know a banana leaf from a tobacco leaf if they looked at it. So, listen, I was blessed. I learned from my father. We have a lot of great people that work for us. The average worker's been with our company in Nicaragua for 21 years and 7 months. That consistency, a lot of I attribute to the employee retention that we have. And when you have a consistent workforce that's been working, I always say practice makes permanent. When you have that consistency of employee, I think it's going to, in the manufacturing base, it's going to bring a big consistency of cigars. And I think that's why people are really happy with our product. And that's my job, to make sure that the consumer and you, my customer, are happy with the product. I don't want you to have complaints. I want people to really enjoy them. And that's what we work for.
Well, I'll encourage you guys to put your questions down below about this, because there's a lot to dissect here. And if you're really diving into cigars, there's a lot to be learned and gained from what Nick has said, but also from the lineup of Perdomo cigars. So I'd be curious to hear from you. What's the best Perdomo that you smoked? Drop a comment down below. And do you have more questions about all the stuff that Nick just said? Because God knows I do. There's so much to learn about this amazing industry. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. And I want to thank you as well, brother.
Thank you, Tim.
This has been great.
Thank you.
Guys, check this video out on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. And this is Tim and Nick both signing off for Cigars Daily. And I will see you in the comments.